cheap and cheerful little one on something that happened yesterday. I was doing a 60-mile run, which is quite a long run for me, and on the way back with about 25 miles to go, which is about 2 hours, I heard this click 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 noise. I thought the bottom bracket had gone, but on inspection it was actually this. The tyre wall had been torn. There's a large bulge here in the tyre. Now, somebody did offer to give me a lift, very nice of them, but I struggled on, sort of glided, kept the weight on the front wheel. This is the back wheel, and I made it home, which I suppose is testimony to the fact that this is a, what is this? This is a Challenge Limus. It's actually a cyclocross tyre, and I was on a road bikes. So maybe this tyre is made for mud and soft conditions. Maybe it's not the best for the road. It's also a very big tyre. I see it's experimented when I first got some bikes, and this is actually a 33C tyre on a Zip 202. I mean, it's probably actually too big. I mean, probably this is, you can see it's huge. It's a huge wall tyre, so maybe I was pushing my luck. It's done well over 1,000 miles probably in this, and you can see that underneath this there's something woven, and underneath that presumably there's something rubbery. But I'm going to take it off and have a look at it, and obviously replace it with something more conventional, maybe just a Continental GPS tyre or something. And I'll maybe update this once I get it off and see what's going on. I guess it could be repaired, but the fact there's a bump in it means if you go over a soft road, you feel the bump, or rather a smooth road, you feel the bump. And of course it's never the best to be running on something that's patently damaged. Just before I get into changing this, I noticed something which may or may not be relevant. Because the tyre sticks out there beyond the rim, it's possible that this bulgy tyre has protected the rim. Maybe the rim would have got damaged, but the tyres maybe taken the impact. What I'm not sure of, and as I look around this tyre, I see that the tyre itself is the rubber on the treads here, just there, starting to go, it's starting to perish. So maybe these tyres have like a lifespan where the material itself starts to go. Let's see here. I just don't know how this has happened. I didn't feel any impacts. I avoid potholes. I don't think I hit anything. Maybe it saved the rim. I just don't know. But I do see that around this, further up, the actual rubber itself is perishing. It's starting to go all around here. So maybe these things have I've probably been on the bike for 5 years, maybe after a certain, I mean it hasn't been used much, but maybe after a certain number of years you just have to replace tyres because they've got too old. You can see all the way around here that things are happening. Not so much here, but the rubber itself is going on the tread. So this tyre came off incredibly easily. It just basically fell off. Here's the inside of the issue, which you can see that the wall of the tyre on the inside is incredibly thin. So obviously the strength of it here is very compromised. There's no damage to the inner tube whatsoever. And, it would have probably been okay. It was just a bit of a shock to look at it and to hear it. But yeah, I mean, I can see how I managed to get back, but it is definitely a weakness that could have caused some big problems. But I think overall this tyre, this Challenge Limus Pro tyre, these are expensive tyres. I know it would cost 60, 70 pounds each, handmade and stuff. I think it's a testament to the fact that it's a good tyre. But there is this seal along the wall here that you can, maybe that is a weakness, possibly. It does have quite a thick wall to it, quite a rubbery thick wall, and maybe that kind of reinforcement, even after this, allowed me to get back. And maybe another tyre would have completely failed and I'd have been really stuffed. Anyway, it taught me a lesson. I really need to take, well, you know, you take a spare tube, don't you, when you've got inner tube tyres, clinchers. Would you take a spare tyre and a tube? The good thing about these is that you wouldn't have any problems at the side of the road changing it, because, as I say, I mean, this just fell off basically. Anyway, there we are so far. So I got on this new, well, it's not new, but it's a tyre I had before from it's just a Continental Grand Prix cheap tyre. It might be pretty good. Got it on with a bit of hand gel, quite difficult to get over the rim, not that difficult. I think it's been on a bike before, so it's really pre-stretched. I would not want to change an inner tube or a tyre or anything like that on the road, because it's not a simple job to get these tyres over the rim. I think if you're going to carry a spare, you should maybe carry a particularly flexible spare that's easy to seat, because you know you're really going to be in big trouble on the road if you don't have something slippery like hand gel or something to get it over the rim. It's a problem. Anyway, we'll try inflating this and see how it looks. So that's the new tyre on. I've got it at 100 psi. It says it can take up to 115. My neighbour Chris reckons that you should be running your tyres at, I don't know, 60 psi. He's a believer in running basically flats. I don't like flats. I like high pressure tyres because I think they roll better and they're quicker. But you know, there is a great movement towards fat tyres with low pressure. This is a 28C, so this is not a small tyre. I even got the direction of rotation correct for once. It's, I presume, rotation going this way, and that being the cog, I think it runs that way. I don't know if it makes any difference, but there we have it, tyre changed in 5-10 minutes. But again, I think I'm going to seek out the easiest to change tyre and carry that as a spare, the lightest, easiest, maybe not the toughest, but something to get you home if you need it, that's just easy to put on and light to carry. I mean, you can obviously fix an inner tube maybe with patches, maybe if it's not too badly damaged, but if a tyre's gone as well, there's always sealant, I suppose, but I don't know about sealant. Maybe sealant is the way to go, but sealant can clog up your valves, and you could end up being unable to inflate the tyre without a pin or some acetone to free up the valve. Interesting to have your suggestions on how you protect yourself from flats and punctures and things and damage to walls when you're on the road. I think I will start carrying, I don't carry a phone when I'm cycling because I like to be away from it all, but maybe now, after yesterday, I will carry a phone just as an emergency backup procedure. So I'm just inspecting the front tyre, which was undamaged, and it has this kind of same kind of strange stain, pretty much the same place as the back tyre. And that's the front. It's not telling me much. I mean, the rubber is going on this one as well, all over the place. It's perishing all over the place. I still think these are really good tyres, but I just think that the wall, whatever's going on here, but I mean, it could just be, at the end of the day, these are cyclocross tyres. They're made from mud. They're made for racing through fields. They're made to grip slidey, soft ground. and they're just not made for being on the road. So maybe the lesson here is quite simply, don't use cyclocross tyres for the road. I mean, they're really substantial. I mean, you can really feel the sort of tactile, rubbery, flexy softness of them. And there's another bit there that's looking a bit dodgy, opposite that bit. So maybe there's just a bit where, I don't know, that's not the valve, it's the other side of from the valve. Yeah, so maybe the answer is don't use cyclocross tyres for road bikes, for road cycling, because that's what's going to happen. Anyway, I'm just about to put the second Conti road tyre on. The other thing I never really liked about these tyres on a road bike is they're chunky and they're heavy, and because they've got a massive tread, the rolling resistance isn't good. But I thought, you know, good for wet days and a little bit of gravel riding. I use the railway line a lot, and tracks and things, and probably okay for that, yeah. High cadence, low gear stuff. I mean, the tread is just pretty much like new, really, but the actual rubber behind the tread is going in. And these soft walls. Changing this other tyre, which was a brand new tyre, and an old tube was a real drag. I needed loads of slippery gel. I'd never have got it on without the gel. My fingers are a bit arthritic, and pulling the bead over the rim is horrible. The big issue, and it's now really starting to rain, is the inner tube. What a pain they are. You can see why people want to run tubeless, even though I think inner tubes have got some benefits in terms of puncture resistance and stuff. But maybe I shall look at tubeless in the future. Now I need to go in because I'm getting soaked.